This podcast is brought to you in part by Russell Lands, Coke, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, Sunrise Docks, Dr. Thomas Dudney, and the Green Monster Fishing Light. Now, back to Bubba on the Lake.
B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. Wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey. Gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake. In the mellow yellow studio, putting on a show. Betty say, what? She always on the go. We got Hunter Bus sitting at master control. Don't wanna miss a moment, cause Bubba's got the flow. B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. Wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey. Gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey.
Hello again, friends, neighbors, and associates everywhere. Welcome to the little podcast we like to call Bubba on the Lake. I'm your semi-retired, mostly washed-up host, formerly of the Rick and Bubba Show, and we want to welcome you in to Bubba on the Lake, also known as the People's Podcast. Love getting the feedback from you guys. We're here in the Mellow Yellow studio. Our website is bubbaonthelake.com. We also have the comment line, 308-BIG-LAKE. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications. We don't want you to miss a thing. A lot going on. If we follow Robert's Rules of Order, which I'm a big fan of, we need to cover old business first. So I do want to say thank you to everyone that came out to the boat show this weekend, Russell Lands. What a tremendous event that is. I've said many times, my favorite weekend of the year. It really is. Get to see a bunch of boats. Most of them I can't afford, but I really enjoy seeing them. And we had, of course, the in-water boat show Friday night at Willow Point, where they come out and walk the catwalk, so to speak, in the lake. And we have food, to beat the band. Many of you saw the pictures from that on social media. And then Saturday at the Ridge Marina is where you actually come and you can test drive boats and get on boats and all that. And saw several of you there, met several folks I had not met before. And so good to see you and got pictures with you. And I always enjoy doing that. Never worry about asking about that. I am honored when anybody wants a picture. I honestly, I can't believe it. I know. I'm like, really? Seriously? And you guys are so nice. When I meet you, you always have some very heartwarming stories about listening to the radio show, listening to the podcast, what's going on with you guys, and it's always a lot of fun. So, we've been talking. I would like to have a big event where we got a lot of listeners together, and we're kind of looking at that and what the options might be for that. Some of the tubers were in town a few weeks ago and met with some of them down here at the lake at Kalijah and had a great time with them. And hopefully we can do more of that in the future. So anyway, great weekend. Thank all of you that came out for that. And we're excited about that. Now, last week's show, oh, by the way, when it comes to anything Russell Land, let me remind you of this. Go to their website, russelllands.com. They have a great website. They have a great app also. You can get all the details of everything that's always going on there, including Friday on the Green. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later here on the program. Now, we were absent last week on the podcast, and it was unavoidable circumstances, meaning the host got sick. We were set up to record. We literally had studio lights on. And I had to run to town. Came back, on the way back, I got to feeling so bad. I went and laid down in the bed. And it was a big evening because we had a group going to see the movie Micheal. And I was pumped. I've been looking forward to this movie for a year. I know Michael Jackson stirs up a lot of emotion, some good, some bad, some confused. I got that. But I'm a fan. I grew up with him. The later years, sure, it got a little weird. I give you that. Don't know, exactly everything that happened there. Jury's still out, so to speak. A lot of accusations, I will say that. But I was pumped to see it because I was a fan of the dancing. I was a fan of the moves. Michael was just a few years older than me, so we grew up together almost. I remember watching them and the Osmonds and having their trading cards, watching their cartoons, all that stuff. So, but anyway, I'm coming back. We got a big evening planned. We probably got a group of 15, 16 people going to the movie. Can't wait. And I get to feeling bad. And I think, wow, this is really coming on hard and heavy. So I went and laid down. Well, I just got to feeling worse. Stomach cramping. Oh, my gosh. I felt like I had been kicked by a mule. Can't sit still, tossing and turning. You guys know the drill. We've all had it, but we all hate it, right? And then I start running a fever. And fever's going up, and I'm like, well, this is kind of getting really bad. No way to do the podcast. And at one point, my fever was up to 101.7. And I have changed the way I approach fevers as a grown-up, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. But anything under about 102, I try to let it run its course. When I was a kid, you take Advil, Tylenol, whatever. You can bring it down. You can push it down. But until it got dangerously high, like over 102, I would try to let it run its course. Now, it ain't fun. If you're a grown-up running a fever, it's one of the worst things ever. I mean, you just feel like death warmed over, right? So anyway, I told Betty to go on because the group was planned and, she didn't want to lay. I said, look, go ahead. You can't do nothing for me. I'm going to lay here in the bed. I got a trash can next to the bed with a fresh plastic bag in it. What are you going to do? So she went on to see the movie with our friends, which she should have done. And I am feeling, I don't think I can feel any worse. And y'all know what I'm talking about. At one point, you just start praying for God to carry you home. We call it the kill me mode. Moses had it. We've joked about it on the radio show for many, many years. You get to the kill me stage where you're just like, Lord, I can't deal with this anymore. Just take me out. And look, I'm kind of a pud on that. I give you that. I don't like being sick. And then to beat the band about 5:00, the power goes off. Our power hardly ever goes off. So Betty and our friends they go out to eat. They go see the movie. And I'm here with almost 102-degree fever, no power, which means no fan, no TV to watch to try to distract me, to even have on in the background. It is deathly quiet. Maybe I shouldn't use the term deathly because I felt like it. And I thought, well, Lord, you're trying to get my attention here. I'm tuned in. What do we need to do? And so we made it through that. Betty ended up coming in later, and my temperature had dropped slightly. And I got a good night's sleep. Next morning, fever gone. Absolutely gone. So I hope I did the right thing in letting the fever run its course. I feel like if I had started doing the Advil and all that, it might have taken it longer. But whatever it was, it got out of there. And I didn't eat for 2 days. And then after you haven't eaten for 2 days, you're weak for a day or two, right? So, we're trying to get back up to speed. I did my Pedialyte and all that stuff. But, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks out of nowhere. And then it almost left as quick. So anyway, we're back with you. Very, very glad to be back with you. We have a lot on the table, some things I want to tell you about. I'm going to try to get to some emails if we have enough time in the show, but we are going to focus a little bit on the movie Micheal. It is breaking all sorts of box office records. And at the time when we originally was going to do this, I had not seen it. But now I have seen it, so maybe that worked out for the best. My son Hunter has seen it several times already, And we're going to talk to him in just a few minutes, and we'll kind of break down the movie. But I was telling you about Russell Lands a minute ago. I wanted to mention this before we moved off of the topic totally. Now that summertime is back, they have a thing they do called Friday on the Green. And this is a community thing people love. You bring your lawn chair, you go out there, you sit, and you have this great entertainment. And we've had some really big stars come through and perform at this. So you never know who you're seeing, what they're going to be later on. Now, if you want a rundown, because I know this airs at different times, I'm not going to give you the one this week. I'm just going to say go to russelllands.com, look at Friday on the Green, and you'll see a list for the whole summer who's going to be here. Also available on the app. So it's a great event. Dogs are welcome. Bring your leash. They restock the bags in the dog waste station. So, you bring your own insect repellent. You've got food nearby at Catherine's Market, Springhouse, Fanny's, and they have different food trucks from time to time too. So anyway, check that out, russelllands.com. And it is Friday on the Green. Very, very popular around here. All right, we'll be right back in just a minute. Hunter Bussey's going to be our guest, and we're going to look at the movie Micheal and some of the things going on around it. Incredible story. We'll be right back with Bubba on the Lake.
You're listening to Bubba on the Lake.
Hit me bad.
A production of Intergalactic Pants and Tees.
All rights reserved.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Illuminate your night fishing adventures with the ultimate in submersible fishing light technology. The Green Monster Fishing Light attracts bait fish and game fish in all water environments. Turn any dock into a vibrant feeding frenzy. Compact, tough, and energy efficient. The Green Monster Fishing Light will provide endless hours of family entertainment and enhanced nighttime visibility for safe docking. No dock, no problem. With our 24-inch portable Green Monster Fishing Light, start landing trophy fish tonight. Visit thegreenmonsterfishinglight.com.
Dr. Dudney has been my dentist for about 20 years. He does a great job taking care of my teeth, making sure my cavities are good, cleaning my teeth, and also adding veneers to my smile, which was a game changer. Now, Dr. Dudney and his friendly staff can do the same for you. I ask you to give them a chance. Just talk to them, no cost. Just make an appointment, see what you need, see if you can have a better smile and feel better about yourself today. Give them a call at 205-663-6545 or tedudney.com. All right, we are back. Hunter Bussey is on the line joining me. Hunter, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? We've been under the weather the past few days. Me a couple weeks ago, then you last week. We still alive but barely breathing.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I feel like I was behind a truck with bricks on it and it fell on me. I mean, it happened quick. Quick. And I don't do good sick. I just tell hey, look, I'm a pud, okay? I call it on myself. And I just don't do good sick. I'm like a sports car, man. Everything has to be tuned, and I run at a great speed, and I perform and do wonderful. But if one thing gets off, it all falls apart. And being kicked by a mule in the stomach will definitely get it off, so you don't feel good, you know?
No. Gosh. Yeah, I know it's no fun getting the bug, and I think it's going around right now. I've got some friends and neighbors that are currently going through it right now too. So you're not the only one, but yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Well, so am I. Thank you. You saw Micheal before I did. You've seen it. I don't know. I know at least twice, maybe three times.
I've seen it twice. I've seen it twice. I might see it a third time. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, we're already making plans to go back and see it, maybe in IMAX or something.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, I haven't been to a movie that I felt electricity in the audience before, out buying tickets. It's been a long time. There's very few things you go to that feel that way. And this one had that feel to it. By the way, here are the numbers as of the time that we are recording this. Domestic, $183. Let's see, that's $1 million. I was looking for
the million. No.
I was looking for the commas there. International, over 240 million. So worldwide, we're sitting at $423 million. $423 million, $500 million that this movie has brought in already.
And I think it'll get more personally.
I'm going to tell you, we went Sunday and the theater was packed. I've never seen that many people in that theater before. I've never seen people lined up buying tickets as far as they were at our local movie theater, the Playhouse. And it was the crowd. There was some excitement there. One of my favorite things to do though is to see, and there's been several videos of it. Somebody who is dressed head to toe in Michael Jackson, right? They got the glove on, they got the hair deal and all that. They got the Thriller jacket on, and they go to the window and they say, "What movie do you want?"
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to wear that get up to go see The Devil Wears Prada too, which is going to be a great movie too, by the way. I enjoyed the first one. Can't wait to see it. But it's just funny to see that. So I grew up with Michael, and I shared a lot of that with you growing up, and I think that's why you're kind of have become a fan. And I know everybody's not. He got too weird toward the end.
Yeah,
the Wacko Jacko years, and we're going to see that in the next movie. But they attempt to explain some of that in this movie. Let me get your thoughts on it, and then we'll kind of run down what the family's saying about it.
Yeah, I loved it. Like you said, I grew up. You introduced me to the Michael Jackson song catalog when I was very young, like on the way to baseball practice and basketball practice and tennis, you name it. And you brought home that DVD, I think it was called Michael Jackson's Number Ones or something like that. It had all the short film music videos on it. And I remember, I think it's when Beat It came on, Mom was like, "Hey, this was my cheer routine in high school." And she taught me and Katelyn the Beat It dance in the living room back when we lived in Pelham. So that was, a memory that stuck with me forever. And then when this movie came out, I was like, I got to see it like opening night. I have to see it. And I was honestly very surprised. I went into it knowing it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that good. Jafar Jackson, I forgot I was watching Jafar Jackson, at least for certain segments of the movie, but especially the last 30 minutes, because he looked so much like Michael. Like it was like almost like a 1-for-1 look, and I didn't think anyone could top have the look like him, especially like the younger Michael, and they nailed it. I don't know about you, but I thought they nailed it in terms of his look and his voice and the mannerisms, and I'm glad that they kept it in house. I know there were some people wanting this guy that portrayed him on Broadway that thought they would do a better job, but I think if you stick with Jafar, if you listen to him talk and sing outside of this movie, he's the closest thing to Michael Jackson that we have, and he's in the Jackson family. You know what I mean? But overall, I loved it. I thought it was a 10 out of 10. I've seen it twice now, planning on seeing it a third time. And if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? You need to go see it. If you love the 80s and Michael Jackson, it's your movie.
That may be the bigger underlying message here. I've said for years that I weep that the kids today didn't grow up in the 80s. This movie kind of shows that again, that clearly mankind as a civilization peaked out in the 80s, and it's been downhill ever since. I mean, this is, I weep. I thank the Lord I got a chance to grow up in the 80s and all the dumb things I did anyway. But it just brings, I felt a flood of emotion watching it. And you made this comment, and I thought this was a good comment. I never saw Michael Jackson in concert. Never saw him.
Mm-hmm.
But after you saw this movie, you felt like you had been to one because it puts you in the middle of it, the way it's shot and the way it's done. And I hate that I never saw him in concert. The closest was during the Victory Tour in Atlanta. My cousin went, his wife. We probably could have got in on that deal. But we had something we were doing. Who knows? I mean, none of us thought he was going to die at 50.
No,
but
no.
It's just it really brought back just a flood of emotions from the 80s, and remembering seeing Beat It, or I guess it was Billie Jean first that was on MTV, and then Beat It came out, and then we had Thriller, and then we had the big build up for Bad coming out. You remember that was a short film too, and Wesley Snipes, by the way, got famous in that one. He went on to do a few shows, if you remember.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's still doing stuff now.
Oh yeah. Well, he's still. I mean, he's a major movie star, and
he's been in the game for a while. I
think that was his first gig was on the Bad video, but we really enjoyed it, and I put some posts out about going to see it, and also about some of your favorite Michael songs that may not be as well known. And I'd love for you to go comment on some of that. It was some really great comments. I'd forgot about State of Shock, which is one they did with Mick Jagger. And it was on the Victory Tour. We used to, believe it or not, when we installed car stereos, we used to use State of Shock to test the system because it had such a great bass line in it. It was it was perfect for setting up a car stereo. So, but you loved it too. What do you think? Did you follow him in the later years that you got weird and all the accusations and all that? Did that taint your way you looked at this, or tell me what you thought about that?
Well, I did some research after, watching the movie, and even whenever all that was going on, I was too young to remember all the accusations going. I mean, the first one happened in 93, and let's just be honest, I was not even a thought yet in 93.
Yep.
So I was still kind of just up there in the pool of creation, I guess you could say. And it's funny how the media, when this movie came out, it got review bombed by the media because they wanted them to cover all the allegations and show who he really was and all this. But if you do your research, he was investigated for 17 years and they couldn't never find anything. And there was one payoff, situation in 93 that they had to cut out of the movie. That's why it was, that if you go see it, this is not really a spoiler. It kind of ends abruptly, and it's been, in the headlines ever since this movie was announced it was coming out. They had to cut the movie in half and do reshoots and pay the studio, a butt ton of money and turn around. And now the budget was $200 million, which they've made it back, of course, with no problem.
I think 155, Michael Jackson. 155 exactly. So they're way in the profit mode on this.
Yeah, they're in the green big time. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I enjoy the music. I try not to look at, the personal things. I'm more of a 80s Michael fan than anything. I do like some of his later stuff, like Post Bad. I like Remember the Time. I like You Rock My World, especially that short film music video with Chris Tucker, because it's just hilarious because he's being over exaggerating with all of his, Chum On and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's funny. Real funny.
It's just, and him sharing the stories of Michael, in their friendship and everything, is really cool to watch too, if you haven't seen those. But I don't think it really tainted anything. He was a bit odd in the later years. I'm not going to not admit that. But in terms of his creative genius at such a young age, you got to think from Off the Wall, which was in 79, to Bad, which was in 88, 89, somewhere in there. He was in his 20s.
Yeah.
And
that's
Thriller,
incredible.
Thriller swept all of his Grammy nominations. I mean, there's literally pictures of him, and you've probably seen it even in the movie. They talk about it, but he's arms full with Grammys.
Yeah. At
23 years old. That's and it's still the most sold album ever. It's 25 million and counting. In fact, it's the number one streaming album on Spotify and Apple Music right now. It's just
Hunter,
it's that and
number one 43 years later.
Is that and
crazy?
People were trying to make the claim before this movie came out. It's Taylor Swift has eclipsed what Michael Jackson. I'm no. Like, if anything, this movie has shown that Michael Jackson is in a league of his own, and there will be no one like him ever. I mean, I don't think it'll ever be touched.
You mentioned Jafar. He did an incredible job on this. If he doesn't win, and I don't even know what all the acting awards, Oscars, and you know all that. If he doesn't win a bunch of those, they need to quit the award, because he became Michael Jackson. I mean, it's unreal.
He did.
Now let me ask you this too, because I find this strange. You always have to follow the money. And I don't know who all got cut in, who got cut out. I don't know all that. Looking at his family, his mother, who is in this movie prominently, and really, I don't think shown in the best light, because she's let Joe get away with so much. She loved it. She said it put her back there. She said it was just like it was. I mean, she couldn't be more complimentary on it. Then you have Janet that didn't want anything to do with it. And I don't know if that's because her dad was painted so negatively in it, Joe Jackson, which he was. I mean, you talking about Jack. Okay.
You're talking about another guy that did really good in the movie. Coleman Domingo, that played Joe Jackson, he will probably win supporting actor out of this, because he was just like, he's like, I'll tell you what to think. It's like,
oh yeah,
and calling the Jackson brand the Coca-Cola of, it's like, no, Michael's your Coca-Cola. Michael's your breadwinner.
The guy on used to be in Living Color, David Allen Greer, is that his name? The comedian. He did.
Oh Lord, I don't know.
He did a skit. He had an ongoing character where he was Joe Jackson, and it was the funniest thing. That's where we get the sing, dance, Michael, sing, dance. I mean, he nailed the look. I mean, oh my gosh, I hope that's his name. I didn't look it up ahead of time. I should have double checked, but it is so dead on. And so then you had Prince, his son, who loved it. He said, this was my dad. This is what I saw growing up. He loved it. Then you had Paris, his daughter, who hated it, didn't want anything to do with it. I don't know what it is with the girls. They were against it all.
So I found like an article. The reason why she's mad about it, because she does not like John Brinkham, whatever his name is, the guy that Michael ended up hiring as his manager or agent, I guess. And she thought that he was trying to like cash in big, and she was like, this movie caters to a specific fantasy of dad's fan base and everything. But my thing is like, celebrate that part of him. You know what I mean? The part 2 is going to be brutal. Like, the music is going to be good, but part 2 is going to be brutal. That's what people are like, they're excited, but it's like, oh crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they're gonna cover the negative. They're gonna cover the Lisa Ann Marie time, all that kind of stuff. All right, here's a couple of things we were talking about, and I've learned some of these. You may know them, may not. Did you know the song Thriller was originally called Starlight, and that Michael actually sung that and then went back and changed it to be Thriller?
I did know that. Yes.
I did not know that till the other day, but I did see a clip of him singing Starlight. One of the other little tidbits of information, Wanna Be Starting Something, one of my other favorite songs. That was actually written for LaToya, and she recorded
Who was in the movie.
Yeah, she recorded it.
Depicted in the movie.
And the song was about his sisters not getting along with his brother's wives. And, if you go look at the words, he does say in it, I'm a vegetable several times. That's part of the lyrics. Yeah. And the end of the song, which was much debated, Manase Manasana Makusa, that is actually it's one of the African languages for mom knows best. Mama knows best. I don't know if it's Zulu or something. What it's one of the it's one of the languages in Africa, and he just repeated that over and over. Now I don't know why, but it was it made a great song. I'll say that.
Yeah, I like that part of the movie too. This isn't really a spoiler, but there's like a certain scene where he's he can't sleep because he's got so many ideas, and he's, he says it consistently, at least in the earlier part of the movie. He goes, I have so many ideas, I got to get them out. And he's
stop teasing me, Jermaine.
He'll like walk down, to his they have like a little recording studio in their house, and he's like writing down on notepads and note cards and putting them on, like a bulletin board, and all that. And that's one of the things that he puts on there, because he's like, he thinks about it, writes it down, thinks about it, writes it down. And I wish they would have gone a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just liked the overall, like, whenever they were coming up with ideas for the Thriller album, it was just him and Quincy Jones. Whenever they're sitting there, and he goes, CBS wants you to be on the cover of or wants the album to be called Micheal. And he goes, no, it's too egocentric. He goes, well, you're on the cover of the album. You're singing all the songs. He goes, don't joke a joker. Or something like, and it made me laugh. And then the whole transition to Thriller was really cool when he finally puts it, 2 and 2 together. He's like, that's what we're going to call it. Because he was obsessed with the horror movies in the 80s.
Yeah, he caught some flack about it too. Even his mom gave him some flack, and they went back.
Yeah.
Best I remember, they added the little disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah, the title card of Thriller. Yeah, it says he doesn't believe in the occult and has no association with that.
Right.
And I wish they would have talked about that, because he got, I think, booted out of the church for that. I'm pretty sure.
So what was he? Latter-day? He wasn't Latter-day Saint. He was
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I did think part that was the way he went about forming the music, writing the music, I thought was very interesting, because I have no musical talent. So people who write music, I've always admired their ability to do that. And I thought that was very interesting. I love seeing how, because everybody does it a little different, how he put it all together. And I just thought that was super cool.
Yeah. And
the other part, let me say this too.
Yeah.
The other part, how when he was he if you haven't seen the movie, you'll see this, but he's floating around in a pool thinking about songs, and he says he's waiting for God to give him a song, and I think that showed part of his reverence for God, in that he realized God was the creator and the giver of all talent, and that he simply was a vessel that was flowing through. I thought that was interesting, because I think that's the truth, and I think that needs to be portrayed in that.
Yeah, and he also had those people when he was younger, the Motown people were like, yeah, you have God-given talent. I hope you realize that. Even at a young age, people were telling him it's God-given talent. He, fully listened and accepted that. And, you just think back at like what was going on behind the scenes, when the Motown and the studio people weren't around, he was getting abused by his father, but at the same time, there's a point where it becomes too much. Like honestly, Joe Jackson was a genius in terms of like, working them to the point of, abuse. But Micheal specifically, he would, anytime Micheal would mess up, he'd just beat Micheal just because. And there's a difference between spanking your child to, get a point across, and then spanking your child because you just feel like it. You know what I mean? And then calling them big nose, because that's part of the reason they even touch on that. Why he goes through so many, facial, changes, because his dad made fun of him because of his nose and stuff like that.
And he had no
ultimately mad.
He had no childhood. He had no childhood, and his best friend was a monkey. So I mean. It's, too, it was always interesting to me how he was so talented in that. And I'm glad they did this when they wrote the song Jam, and he did it with Michael Jordan. I mean, you had the two ultimate MJs, right? So you had Michael Jackson trying to show possibly the greatest athlete ever to walk the face of the earth how to dance. And he was not a good dancer. And then you had Michael Jordan trying to show Michael Jackson, who could move like no human has ever moved, how to shoot basketball. And he looked as awkward as you could be.
Oh, it's I mean,
that
I saw
was
that
even
the other.
more sad,
I've never seen it before. It's like watching a newborn fawn try to walk for the first time when he tries to shoot a basketball or dribble. It's like, whoa, whoa,
You know,
whoa,
they even
whoa, whoa.
And the reason I remember that is they had a scene in the movie where the brothers are playing basketball. Michael doesn't play because he obviously never played. You know, I mean, he never shot a basketball. But you can.
And that was kind of a sad scene too.
Yeah,
it showed how lonely it was because they go to the toy store because he was buying all those toys for those kids in Children's Hospital. He goes, guys, look, I got Twister. Y'all want to play? And they're like, nah, man. He's like, y'all are no fun. You could tell he was like, well, dang. He's like, everyone's growing up.
I understand him wanting to do his own thing. Okay. But I will tell you from a fan standpoint, I loved it when all of them were on stage because you didn't know what was going to happen. And the brothers, they were as cool as you come. You know, they had the dance step behind it. I mean, Young or Victory Tour. I loved it when all of them were out there. I love that. Yeah. Joe Jackson was clearly over the top to the point of abusive. Okay. Yeah. And I think Katelyn should have stepped in a lot earlier and put an end to that.
She called him out a couple times, but it was just a different time then. It was just how it was.
Well,
and he was also very, 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 intimidating and towering, and I didn't realize how tall he was, and that
how much he looked like the devil. I mean,
really. I mean, his eyes are. He did that. Coleman Domingo killed that role. He literally embodied Joe Jackson to the point of like, wow, like our whole theater. Anytime he would pop up on screen or say something, like he was like, yeah, I'll let you do that solo album, but I need you to tour your brothers. And everyone's like, oh my God, like, oh my God, well, it was just like groans and moans.
For Michael, it was negative. But see, when I heard he was going to bring his brothers back along to do Victory, I thought, this is great. I get to see the whole crew again. Remember, I grew up with the whole bunch, watching the cartoons and all of that on Saturday morning. So anyway, Hunter, thank you for your input. Any closing thoughts on it?
I'm just glad you got to see it. Because whenever I showed you the trailer, you were like, oh yeah, I got to see it. And, Mom was saying like, yeah, your dad experienced a full range of emotions. And then you were like, yeah, I feel like I was back there again. And just, me seeing it, like my favorite scene in the whole movie is, Beat It, whenever he gets all the gang members, together after seeing all that on the news and everything. And, they're doing the whole Beat It routine. It brought back memories of, being in the living room with you and Mom showing us, me and Katelyn, the Beat It dance and us learning that, with the music video playing in the background and everything. And it was really cool. But like just real quick before we, go to break here, what was your favorite part of the whole movie?
I was trying to think about that to answer that question in advance because I knew that topic would come up. Let me say this. I, at one point, wanted to jump up and dance. I was already dancing in my seat, as was most of the theater. Okay.
Same.
I mean, I was doing the sideways moonwalk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am kind of an emotional person now, especially a little older. And I'll bawl on you in a minute. But I'm almost to Glenn Beck level at times. But most movies I don't cry in. Okay, I cry about real life things. You got to deal with. Like taxes. But I teared up at one point in the movie, and it's not going to be when you think that it would. You probably think it's when Michael was getting a spanking with a belt or something, right?
Right.
No, it's when the Beat It video, when they get on that stage with those dancers and they start practicing. And the first time they do that little slide backwards, where they pull their shoulders back. And I thought, it just hit me. We're there again. I remember watching that and having such emotion when I was a teenager, going to somebody's house that had MTV because we didn't have it. I had to go watch it somewhere else. And seeing that move, it just brought back, I felt like I was 16 again. And I got teared up when they went full speed and he got the jacket on. And I thought, man, I'm about to bawl here watching him do Beat It.
when he said, I have an idea, bring me my jacket, I'm thinking, okay, they're about to just, do the, go into the song right here. But it was when he kind of freelanced and did his own thing. And I was like, holy crap, he looks like his uncle.
No.
Like that. Like, and then he was laughing and saying, what did y'all think? And I'm like, what do y'all think? Listen to the room. Like, what? Oh my gosh. It's so funny how he was like always asking, like, how was that? I wasn't on my toes long enough. And it's like, dude, you're flawless. What are you talking about? It's just crazy. And it made me laugh too, real quick, whenever he would be in a studio, whether he was a kid or when he was doing Off the Wall, they're like, hey, keep your feet still.
Oh, I know.
And he would he'd still move his feet and everything. And he was, and then that scene where they're doing Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, which was also one of my favorites, when Quincy Jones is like, bobbing his head like, okay, we have something here. And you can tell Michael was like, finally, I'm free. I can do my own thing.
When
that was really cool
in the vocal booth and they start bringing in the background music, mixing it in, and you hear it
start swelling up.
Here we go. We got it.
And that was his real vocals. That was his real vocals too. That
he
he sounds just like him. It's unbelievable. I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you're on the fence about it because of what the media said, bump the media, go see it. Okay, just go see it for yourself. If you enjoy Michael Jackson or just enjoy 80s music in general, go see it. I have no association to the Jackson estate. Neither does Dad. Neither does Mom. Neither does Katelyn. Go see it.
Just talking about it right now, I find myself wanting to look through the listings. I'm like,
seriously.
So, all right, Hunter, before you go, plug away on your other gig.
Yeah. I'm helping out part time with a channel called The Barn, Auburn. I get to cover a team that I grew up loving, and it's fun that I get to do that. I got to cover a practice for the first time recently, but we have a show called The Social Hour. It's me and Graham McLean. It's every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. So join us over there at The Barn, and we talk about everything going on in Auburn, and we also we like to freelance a little bit too because it's the end of the day, and it's kind of the show that people watch before they wrap up their day. So that's kind of what we're there for. So if you're interested in that, it's The Barn Auburn on YouTube and also anywhere you get your podcast as well.
All right, Hunter, proud of you, son. Love you. Thank you for being on, and we will be right back in just a minute with more Bubba on the Lake.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll be right back.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Grab a latte at Brew 63, linger over lunch at Fanny's, or take in a Lake Martin sunset at Kalijah Restaurant. Whether you're here for the weekend or you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
At Central State Bank, we believe community banking is more than just transactions. It's about relationships. For over 100 years, we've been helping neighbors grow, businesses thrive, and dreams become reality. Because when you bank local, you invest in your community. Central State Bank, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Visit us today or learn more at centralstatebank.com. Member FDIC.
You know one thing I love about Buffalo Wild Wings? You can get wings with any of their 26 sauces and dry rubs for takeout and delivery. That's like bringing an entire B-dubs home with you, which you can't do. I tried. I've knocked down so many walls, only to then be told to halt construction because I'm not zoned to be a sports bar. Kinda just looks like a big pergola or something because of the lack of walls. At least these 26 sauces and dry rubs are available to go. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
Well, we have a very special guest with us again this week. She is the spirited child. She is back again by high demand, Katelyn Bussey. Katelyn, how are you, dear?
I'm good. How are you? Happy to be back.
Well, how is everything in beautiful Washington, D.C.?
It is wonderful. It's actually been a really pretty week, good weekend, lots of good weather. It's been great.
Well, you've had a long day at work.
I have. It's been a long day, long weekend. But we're good. Everyone's doing well.
Well, what did you do this weekend? Were you out and about?
I was. Harris and I went to the Virginia Gold Cup. It's like a little, not anywhere near as big as the like Kentucky Derby or anything like that, but kind of along those same lines, a little horse race. It was fun.
Now, we're talking about your boyfriend, Harris.
Yes. Yes.
Well, now, how long have y'all been dating now?
Dad, I thought you wanted to talk about other things. Why does this always?
I was going to transition that into the movie.
Why?
Well, how long have y'all been dating? Just ballpark.
Since February, not super long.
Still early enough. I don't need to be asking too many questions, huh?
Yep.
So, have you seen the movie Micheal? That's what we've been talking about.
I have. I thought it was great. Michael Jackson's a little controversial, I guess, nowadays, but I liked getting to see his kind of upbringing. Not to age you by any means, but I know that was more of you and Mom, knew him as Jackson 5 and, got to see the progression of all the things. I only ever knew him as, Michael Jackson. So it's cool to see all the background.
Yeah, I thought, the movie's been very much hyped, but I thought it lived up to it. I mean, I was a Michael Jackson fan growing up. He was a few years older than me, so they had a cartoon on Saturday morning. I watched it, and, I saw him grow up. I remember 10th grade basketball, B team. I'm sitting, most of us had 8-track tape players in our car, okay, if we had anything. And Tim Johnson, good friend, you've probably met Tim. He's been in our box at the Jack State game several times. He was a year older than me, but we played on the same team, and he said, hey, boys, y'all need to come see this. Got a cassette player, and I have the new Off the Wall cassette. And I remember us listening to that before we got on the bus to go play a basketball game, and I thought, hey, this is a whole new deal right here. This ain't little Michael anymore. Michael is off the wall, living on the wall.
I remember when we were growing up, you and Mom would always play, I guess it was a DVD we had of his, I don't even know what album it was. It was Beat It, Thriller, all the classics, but it was all the music videos.
Yeah.
I just remember that, growing up. But no, it was cool. I also remember when he died, randomly at the beach. We were still little, but I just remember exactly where it was. We were in Karen and Dale Cross's beach club condo when we found out, and her and Mom were glued to the TV for the rest of the night. It's so weird.
Well, it was a tragedy. I don't know.
I felt bad for him. I walked away from the movie feeling really bad for him. He seemed really lonely, and probably more troubled than anyone would like to give him credit for.
Well, we'll see more in part 2. And he is controversial. There's a lot of people think that he was a pedophile. A lot of people think he was not. I tend to, I don't want to believe that. If he is, he should have gone to jail. But I, in my heart, want to believe that he was just a very confused, misunderstood young man who never had a childhood.
Yeah, I know. But
I will say this:
even if you don't have a childhood, you can't just invite kids over for sleepovers as a grown adult.
I know. I mean, it's inappropriate. Yeah. But in Michael's world, again, I'm not trying to defend him.
No,
but
I agree with you. I understand that what you're saying with the he was never a child. I think his brain was kind of stuck there as a child.
Yeah, I do too.
Except for his musical talent, I think people took him more seriously as an adult, but he never really quite developed there.
Well, I think there's several things that happened. I think he was heartbroken by Diana Ross, one thing, which she was much older than he was, 10 years, I guess. But I think he felt like that she had, kind of been grooming him to be a boyfriend at some point, but she apparently was not. And, he didn't have the buoy marker, so to speak, if you're navigating the water to know where to be at. He didn't. I will say this, Joe Jackson in the movie was a total jerk. And Catherine should have done something earlier to stop his abuse. And everybody knew what was going on, okay? I've sent you clips in living color of them doing the Joe Jackson yard sale, sing, dance, here boy, all that. I mean, it was out of control. But he was correct in one point in the movie when he told Michael, he said, if you get outside our family, you're special. Everybody doesn't understand you, and you're going to have a hard time functioning you know, what he was telling him. And you're going to have yes men around you, and you're not going to have us as a guidepost. So Joe was a bad guidepost, but he would have been better, I think, if he'd have had some adult supervision to kind of walk him through that. But again, remember, he got so famous, had so much money. Everybody who says they want people around them to hold them accountable, they say that, but they don't really mean it usually. They want yes men. And that's what he had around him. And so he basically could do whatever he wanted to. But I thought from the tragedy that was Micheal, and we could put a lot of stars in that, okay? We could put Elvis in that. Elvis died at 42. We could put Prince in that. He died at 52, I think. And you know, the list goes on and on. They all think that abusing drugs will not happen to them. And I don't know if Micheal thinks he was abusing drugs or not. He was trying to get some sleep. But taking Propofol does not give you a good sleep. It's what they give you in surgery. And you have to be monitored. I mean, literally every heartbeat, every breath. And he had a guy giving him that and let him go to sleep for the night. I mean, you can't do that. You know, you can't. Eventually it's going to happen exactly what happened.
I think it's extremely hard in Hollywood for anyone to stay grounded and, you know, I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before, but certain places like that, you can almost just feel like the presence of evil when you're there.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine growing up there and being in the midst of people are just trying to make money off of you. They don't care who you are and like anything about your personal well-being or your life. So especially with someone of that caliber of a star. So there's no telling what he actually went through behind closed doors. I'm always very weary of a film or a documentary that's put together by like the person's family, because obviously they're always going to show them in the best light possible. So I'm interested to see what part 2 looks like about that. And if they even address the whole like Neverland thing or anything like that. They kind of alluded to it, like his fascination with Peter Pan,
right,
and stuff like that in the first one. So it'll be interesting to see.
You know, I was talking to Hunter about it. It was interesting to me how different members of the family have lined up on different sides of this. You have Janet, who is dead against it, but she's more against Jermaine than anything. I heard an interview with her since I spoke with Hunter, and she thinks Jermaine, who didn't even like Micheal, according to her, he did write a song, Word to the Bad. I don't know if you remember that or not, where he called him a fake and, you know, you forgot your family and all that kind of stuff. And now he's turned around doing a documentary with his son involved. And Janet says, hey, he's just trying to profit off Micheal. He does not care about Micheal. He's just trying to turn a buck. He is the new Joe in our family.
Yeah. Well, the dad pissed me off the whole movie, like making him go on tour again.
Oh, yeah.
So all the brothers can feel important. I don't know, the whole thing. He would have never gotten, you know, all the burn stuff that had ever happened to him if like he didn't have to go. There's just so many different things where his dad is just as guilty as anyone else, just trying to make a buck off their kids. Why didn't Joe suit up and go to work? I don't know what Joe did.
Well, he worked in a steel mill. He worked hard. He was trying to get out, but
I know, but like pimping your kids out, like pick up another shift, Joe. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
like, I don't know.
He was
his
tough.
Kids were like tortured, probably.
Well, he was tough, but tough parents on kids at that time was not all that out of the blue. Now,
I'm not against being tough on your kids. I mean, I think there's a way to do it that's tasteful. I think like you and Mom did a very good job of that, like making Hunter and I be in a sport, and like if we committed to it, even if we sucked at it and hated it so much, like, hey, you're gonna finish the season and you're gonna do it with a smile on your face. Like some people nowadays might look at that as abuse. Like, you know, people are so soft now, they don't even spank their kids. But yeah, I don't know. Mom could have got DHS, or what is it called? Not DHS. I've been at work too long. What is it? DHR called on her for that time at Applebee's. I'll literally never forget it. So.
Oh, she tore you up good at Applebee's one time, didn't she?
Yes.
Let me tell you, and you deserved it. You were a mean little bugger.
I'm sure I did.
You were showing yourself a little bit, and what it was, we were eating. You were in a high chair. You were so little, okay. And we had food, and you threw a piece of French fry or something. And Mom looked at you and said, Katelyn, do not throw food. No throwing of food. And you picked up another French fry like you were going to throw it. She said, if you throw that, I'm going to tear you up. and you just looked at her. You looked her at her right in the eye and threw it, and she almost in a motion jerked you out of that out of that high chair, and off you were to the bathroom. And she said, you watch Hunter. And I said, oh, I got Hunter. We're fine. And, of course, I was watching Hunter, and I looked over at one time, and he had 2 French fries up his nose. And I thought, well, I'm not watching as close as I need to. And she brought you back. And I tell you, you were little tiny Katelyn then. There was no throwing of food. You sit there and you were just a little angel after that.
Just to show, I think, what some people might consider tough parenting nowadays is nowhere near what it was back then. But in the movie, and like I said, I don't know, I have not spent as much time as you and Hunter have really deep diving into their family and all the background and all that. But just from like watching it, at face value, the dad seemed awful and just like very selfish. And I don't know if that was how he was in real life. I don't know. And I know like some people could say the same about like Christian, or like she's made a pretty penny off of her kids and like getting them to the place that they are. So who knows?
Now, who is that? Like. Who did you say?
You don't know who Kris Jenner is? The Kardashian mom.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm out of the Kardashian loop. I didn't know who you're talking about. That bunch,
it's like the same thing.
That's a whole nother movie right there. Yeah. Okay.
I was about to say, I'm sure there'll be documentaries to come when all of them have passed, which, but anyway, yeah, I like the movie though. I love Michael Jackson's music. I think it's so evergreen. It'll always hit.
Yeah.
I don't care what he did in his personal time. When he drops the beat, like it's always good. I know that's probably horrible, but like.
No, I'm the same way. I just block out any possibility of anything else. Yeah. I enjoy the moment because I lived it. I remember when Beat It came out, or it was actually Billie Jean was first on MTV, and then Beat It, and then we had Thriller, then we had the Bad video come out, and they made a big blow up about it. It was during prime time one night, and they'd promoted that thing like the Super Bowl. So it was interesting. I just enjoyed. I thought the scenes, they recreated them just as close to reality as they could, and it was fun to watch. I mean, the theater was packed, and everybody in that theater was jamming in their seat. Man, you could see the heads bouncing up and down.
It was so loud. It was a little too loud, like where we went, but it was good.
So we'll move on to other topics. I saw where you now are going to be doing a segment on a podcast, correct?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit last time I was on here. It's with Right Side Media, Amy, Beth, and Allison. They're so fun. It's really random. It actually started with Connor, Allison's son, is one of my friends, and he reached out. He was like, hey, like my mom does this podcast, your dad should go on. And I was like, sure. And I'm pretty sure I texted you their contact info. Nothing ever came from it because I don't know if anyone knows this, but trying to get dad to answer a text is like trying to baptize a cat. Like, good luck. And then, so then she reached out to me and was like, we would love for you to have your own segment or show or whatever. Let's grab drinks. Let's talk about it. And we did. We've been talking about it for months. I mean, probably since December. But yeah, I'm excited to do it with them. They're great. They are kind of joining with Yellowhammer News. I don't know all the details of their merger, but it was recent. But yeah, I'm excited. They're really fun. Looking forward to the candid, unfiltered commentary.
Well,
20 minutes every Friday.
Did you negotiate a big deal? I mean, is this
no, I'm
big
literally
bucks or something?
No, it's a passion project. Let's call it that.
That's a good name for it. I like that. No, I have known Mary Beth. She's been on the radio show before.
You know what? Have you done this twice? Mary Beth does not exist in this
right. I know. Amy Beth.
Allison.
I'm sorry. There's a Mary Beth that I know, and that keeps jumping in there. I don't know who it is. I don't know which who it is.
You're gonna introduce me as a different name.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey,
we're getting a little Joe Biden.
Hey, see there? That's why I'm telling you, I can't run for Congress. I'm on short time. So, but we've had her on the show, on the radio show before, and but I don't know her partner Allison, but I'm looking forward to meeting her, and I understand her kids went to Briarwood when y'all were there, as you were talking about.
Amy Beth had some kids at Briarwood too. Briarwood's in the mix, Young Life's in the mix. Amy Beth was like Miss Alabama at some point.
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally messing that up. I can't remember, but
Yeah,
they're
she
both
was.
very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive women, but they're more fun than anything. I know in the context that I know them, they're just great.
Well, you did. You asked me. I actually corresponded with them, and somewhere in athletics and everything else going on, we got behind, and so I reached back out to them. I'm actually going to be on with them Monday the 11th, and that'll be live. So those of you that are not familiar with them, we'll try to get some links up on social media, and we're going to go up and be on their program. I'm anxious to see their studio.
Takeover.
Yeah, I mean, come on, here we go. I being an old engineer, I have to see how they're doing everything, and I know it's a much more lavish setup than we have here. I mean, we're when I say we're in the corner, I mean we're in the corner back here.
You could turn that room into a very cute studio, but you just have too much crap.
Yeah,
and
well, I do. I need a bigger table we can get around and get more people. I can easily interview one person. Two is a little bit of a push. After that, it's real hard to do. But well, we're very excited, Katelyn. What are you going to be talking about? Are you bringing the Gen Z political angle? Is that it? The Bussy Brief? Is that what it's called?
Well, it's funny because this is a story for their podcast. I'm not going to steal the thunder, but how we got to that name is pretty funny. But no, it's just going to be, a Gen Z kind of perspective, and being in DC, kind of that perspective of it, of kind of what's going on here, maybe what you're not seeing in the headlines, kind of the Gen Z take on pop culture things as well. Really anything. And I know this sounds crazy, but we're really just flying by the seat of our pants right now. Whatever's going on, the news cycle is crazy right now. It's never really predictable. So I guess it'll kind of just swing depending on what's going on,
And with Trump, you never know. I mean,
I talk to Allison a lot. So like we've gotten into conversations about how crazy like weddings and stuff are these days. And she's like, see, you need to talk about this on the podcast. Like, this is so funny. And I'm like, phone call is a little different and recording with them live is something different that I'm used to with you. Cause I'm like, okay, we're recording this. If something's bad, I can just text my dad and be like, hey, let's maybe cut that out, or like, whatever. But like,
and then I go,
live.
no, I can't
There's
do it.
No taking it back. So I was a little nervous, but no, they're so fun. I feel like I'm having a conversation with like two clones of mom. Like they're very Southern Republican. Like I love it.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Their set looks great. I can't wait to see how they're doing all that. But they obviously have.
I'd like to go in person too. I think I'll be able to work out of Alabama a couple Fridays coming up for different wedding stuff coming up. I'll be passing through, hopefully. So we'll see.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it and how they do everything. And Katelyn, I think we need to plan, because I know we have a huge following of Bubba on the Lake in the D.C. area with all the congressmen and senators in there. We need a meet and greet there somewhere. You need to get us one of those fancy restaurants, and we set up and sign, take pictures with everybody in D.C. I think that would be huge.
Oh, you think so? Line at the door for sure. No, I'm kidding. I could probably like get a couple bucks and pay some people to be there. No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. But it would be really fun if you could come up here and do a show from up here. I think it'd be funny.
It would be fun. The problem is we don't have the extensive travel budget here on Bubba on the Lake yet. And if we came, we'd have to do audio only, which is a shame, unless we contracted with somebody there to do it for us. So
I have a camera. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. All right, Katelyn. So tell us one more time, what's it called and where can you see your new segment?
The Bussy Brief. It's going to be every Friday for about 20 minutes. I think it's going to be 10:30 Central Time every Friday. So just go to rightsidemedia.com.org. I don't know. I'm probably really bad at plugging this. They're all over socials. I don't know the exact terms, but they are actually redoing their website right now. The way I watch all my podcasts is just to get on Spotify. I know everyone doesn't use that, but wherever you stream any of your podcasts, you can find it. It's called The Right Side. So,
well, the problem I think with a lot of web pages, you get these creative people wanting to do it, and they try to do it for other creators. They try to out-create each other, and they get it too cutesy. I like the way ours is done. It's very straightforward. It's easy to find stuff. Hey, I got a button. There it is, So
also, maybe this is a Gen Z thing. I don't know, but I'm like, put everything on social media. Like you don't even need that. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you're trying to raise money or there's just like a specific reason why you have a website, like the amount of times, even if I'm, looking for a restaurant or like whatever, I'm just going to look for their Instagram or like something like that. It's also way more user friendly. It's just easier. Who the hell has time to update a website all day? No one.
Well, it is fast moving now, no doubt. All right, Katelyn Bussey, live from Washington, D.C., better known as the Bussey Brief, coming to a podcast from Right Side Media soon. Katelyn, good to see you, babe.
Good to see you. I'll call you later.
Okay, take care.
Love you.
Love you.
Where's Bubba?
I'll tell you where. He's on the lake.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Spend your mornings with breakfast at Fanny's. Afternoons, you can explore over 100 miles of trails through Russell Forest. And for dinner, how about the Southern farm-to-table flavors at Spring House? Whether you're here for the weekend or you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
Just got that new boat? Let Sunrise Docks protect your investment with Swift Shield boat covers, Neptune boat lifts, and easy ports for your personal watercraft. Plus, they have composite decking that stays cool, designed with your feet in mind. Sunrise Docks is always first in quality, first in service, and first in customer satisfaction. Right off Highway 63, your Lake Martin headquarters, with 2 barges and the most experienced boat lift crew on the lake. Sunrise Docks is your lake life expert. Call 256-392-5200.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're glad to have you here on Bubba on the Lake. I hope you enjoyed that walk down memory lane from Michael Jackson. And, of course, we were talking about Michael, the movie. It's out. It's setting records. I enjoyed it. Probably will see it again. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is what is happening in the news and in media and entertainment right now. So, anyway, we hope that you enjoyed that. Before we wrap up, I do want to cover a couple other things. We got some really great email here I wanted to break down with you for just a minute. This comes from Ron Pinkerton. Hey, Bubba, thoroughly enjoying the podcast. Thank you for being on the air. It's like sipping on a sweet tea, or in your case, Meliella, on the front porch with an old friend. Keep up the great job, Ron. Ron, thank you. I always appreciate a good word of encouragement. That always goes a long way. This comes from Donald Hayes. He says, Bubba, I'm a proud alumni, 1986 of Jacksonville State University. I enjoy nearly all of your podcast content, but the recent episode was exceptional. For years, I've respected Jack State's criminal justice and forensic science department, but the information shared by Joe Scott was really insightful and interesting. I'm proud of our university. Keep it up, brother. Joe Scott Morgan, he is an exceptional person, very interesting. He does a great job at what he does, and Jack State's lucky to have him, and he is doing a great job with that program. They're expanding that based around him and his expertise, and it's really incredible to see what's going on with that. Email here from Angie in Gadsden. Bubba, when are we going to get everybody together for a celebration? Maybe you could rent a park on the banks of the Monte Coosa. Angie, we've talked about getting a pavilion, getting a park, having a cookout, doing some kind of remote appearance. We're still kind of working on all that. Hopefully we can do something like that this summer. I would love to have some folks come to beautiful Lake Martin. We had some tubers come down a couple of weeks ago, had a great time with that, and we'll see what we can do. This comes from Tim West in New Orleans. He says, any hope of live TV for the podcast? Tim, we're working on that. We're trying to add more video. Of course, it just, is a lot more complicated process. We don't have a lot of room here to do it. We need a room. We need a lot more personnel in cost. And, we're always looking at that and looking for ways that we can do it quicker, cheaper, faster, So hang in there with us. We may do a few special broadcasts this year, just kind of test those and see how those work out. But we enjoy live TV. It's it's always fun. And, the audio, of course, would be available for people who are driving and all that. So this comes from Jennifer K. in Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City. She says, Bubba, any response to your shout out for Ella Langley to have her on the podcast? No, Jennifer, sadly, not yet. Ella is in high demand right now. I don't know if you've seen the latest Billboard chart. She has 3 in the top 10 that are battling each other. And crossed over. I was listening to Q104 out of Birmingham. The old Q104 out of Getz, or they call it 1037, the Q now, station we started on. And it's a top 40 station, and they were playing Ella Langley, Choosing Texas. So now that it has crossed over to other formats, I'm telling you, the young lady is doing wonderful, and I'm proud for her. She does come to Lake Martin. She grew up close to here. She recently did a podcast interview, and she talked about growing up and being on the lake, and I think she has some relatives here too. So anyway, we would love to see her here. We'd love to grab her for a minute and get her on the podcast. Maybe we could interview her on the pontoon boat. Wouldn't that be fun? So anyway, still a big shout out. Anybody can hook us up with Ella Langley, let us know. So one other note here as we close this podcast, and it's been a fun one, as we've reviewed the movie Micheal. I am starting a new job at Jacksonville State University. I'm going to be a special assistant to the president. The past 2 years, I've been assistant athletic director, one of the assistant athletic directors in charge of broadcasting. And I have loved that job. I enjoy it. It was a dream job to work in athletics for a young man that grew up just a few miles from campus. I talked about it before. Our family burial plot is literally right behind the Coliseum. So I thought if I stayed there long enough, they could just roll me right through the Coliseum over to the graveyard. But no, I appreciate this opportunity. We're going to get to do even more things. Some of them still may be in athletics. Being a special assistant to the president, there's always projects that need doing, and we're looking forward to being a sort of a project manager for him on a lot of these projects. So Dr. Don Killingsworth has been a good friend for a long time, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve him in this role, and we are looking forward to it. All right, folks, that's about going to do it for this edition, and I will remind you that we are in the Mellow Yellow studio. By the way, the Randy Owens Center, The Rock at Jack State, got a tour of that. Don't have enough time to tell you all about it right now, but I will on an upcoming episode. What an amazing facility this is going to be. So stay tuned for more information on that. Of course, we're broadcasting from the Mellow Yellow studio. Remember our website, bubbaonthelake.com. Email bubba@bubbaonthelake.com. And, of course, one of my favorite components to the podcast, the comment line at 308 Big Lake. We may use your comment on the air. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications. We don't want you to miss anything going on with the podcast. And as we always like to say, until we sail into port again, remember God loves you, and so do we. Thank you for being part of Bubba on the Lake.
It's Bubba on the Lake. Bubba on the Lake.
Since 1965, Bice Motors has been Lake Martin area's home for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram sales and service. For 60 years, families have trusted Bice Motors in Alexander City for honest deals, friendly service, and the best selection around. Our team of certified technicians services most all makes and models. Plus, we've got a tire center, parts department, and a full collision center to keep you rolling. Bice Motors, your hometown Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer since 1965. In Alex City or online at bicemotors.com.
Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
When you need urgent care, Southern Immediate Care is here for you. Illness doesn't follow a 9-to-5 schedule, so we offer support 7 days a week at convenient locations throughout Birmingham and Northeast Alabama, dedicated to serving all ages from children to adults. Southern Immediate Care offers occupational medicine services, including DOT physicals and testing. At Southern Immediate Care, your health is our top priority. Visit southernimmediatecare.com or call 205-409-2794.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Want to know what's going on around Lake Martin? Check out the calendar of seasonal events that include Fridays on the Green, naturalist events, fireworks, concerts, poker runs, boat shows, juried art shows, boat parades, and much more. If you're here for the weekend or if you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Russell Lands, Coke, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, Sunrise Docks, Dr. Thomas Dudney, and the Green Monster Fishing Light.
B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. Wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey. Gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake. In the mellow yellow studio, putting on a show. Betty say, what? She always on the go. We got Hunter Bus sitting at master control. Don't wanna miss a moment, cause Bubba's got the flow. B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. Wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey. Gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A, hey. B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey.